For everybody that's anticipating a new technology called the Project Bluebeam, it's not gonna happen. After every war, or during a war, or before a war, there's always a disagreement about technology because every nation isn't gonna profit off the technology financially. So, being that there are debts, you know, other nations blackball other nations to improve the economy that way by burying their debt a little bit more and obtaining something like a new technology, like a Project Bluebeam, Cyber Satan. Now it's a lot of propaganda. Also, there's a lot of fakes and phonies. But the true technology I explained over and over is very, very, very strong. It's a very strong technology, powerful, frightening. It could be frightening. You're basically like a movie director. In the technology, you could basically just make a movie right there, and a scary movie, fantasy movie, a funny movie, anything. So, but as for right now, we are not going to have the Cyber Satan, the Project Bluebeam technology in America. So, for everybody that's spamming the videos, maybe we could watch one day in the near future, in a couple years, exactly what the technology is. But they're not going to release it. So basically, Elon Musk started a war in his own right, being that he has his hand and foot in outer space, and the war between, the other nations. And like I said, the Project Bluebeam, Cyber Satan, the whole agenda, not Project Blue Book, I'm talking about the technology, the new technology, Project Bluebeam. There are already satellites in NASA that can disperse the technology. So, we need a license basically for them to use the antennas in the satellites that's in outer space right now, the mechanic. We need a license as a nation to use it, and we need the devices. It's like having a cell phone, it's like having a console. So we're not getting it. That's what I'm saying. We're getting electric cars, so the wars could stop on oil, because oil and gas. This is what everything is about. You see, also I want to talk about Joe Biden. You already messed yourself up. You might as well this is the proper time before it gets any worse for us, for you to step down and for you to let Kamala Harris become the president, because now there's 15 states that are very angry at you. Now you're telling us to go back to work, and 14 people has died in New York going and coming back from work in a subway. All they missing is a shark, and it's a horror film. That's probably soon on the fucking way. The nerve of his old ass to tell you to go to work. They still haven't passed infrastructure bills or human infrastructure bills. No 15 an hour. He said go back to work. And people just died. More people died in New York than they did in Louisiana. And the storm was way more hellacious in Louisiana. So do the math. catastrophe? An accident? So you mean to tell me I'm downstairs about to go to the overnight shift or coming from the overnight shift or working a double? So I look left and I see a big ass rat doing acrobatic swirls or running around, right? And then I look right and I see a big ass wave of water coming, standing 13, 14, 15 feet high, underwater, underground, I mean. And now you about to be underwater. The nerve. Go back to work. He's really tripping. The women is already mad at him for not stepping down. You're falling asleep with the mask, making the mask mandatory. But you can't even tolerate it. So we just said forget the gloves, right? As long as I'm not breathing you, I can touch you though, right? How typical is that? And who is that? Whose words? Whose actions? Whose memorandum? Whose curriculum? Whose requirements? Just let me touch you. What happened to the gloves? We know who always like touching people first. It's the people that got off the boats. They always want to touch somebody. Especially the one with blue eyes. They try hard. Come on, you kidding me? No Project Bluebeam. Elon Musk hated. Hated. Bill Gates hated. Warren Buffett hated. Floyd Mayweather, he needs that type of energy. He needs that technology. He should bounce from the United States of America and never look back. I wouldn't even be fighting them YouTubers or them Conor McGregors. That's it. Tyron Woodley, you lost. I'd rather play with a Project Bluebeam than to ever watch that shit again. Between Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul. They got how much money off that? Feel me? Broner violated Jay-Z. What was it? 5 fights, 60 million or something? He fought 4 fights and made 8 million. You see? You see that? Could have just waited for the second contract. And then when you put that negativity out, it always come back to you. Straight violated him a long time ago. He caught a bad streak. Still got one. He still ain't won a fight. I know he won a fight, but he ain't really won a fight since then. He only technically won 1 fight. And that's, you know, the nobody. I mean, no, well, all right, Granados too. Feel me? I'll give him 3 at hand. Ashley Theophane. It's what you put out. But you punching in a wheelchair? What's going on with you? You know? It's a lot going on. Can't go to GameStop and get a regular PS5. You got to get it over the internet and pay more. Everything is stopped. So now we in September and the flu goes away in March. If you can tell, it starts in March. The year layover it calms down a lot in March. So Biden, why not take the nation out until March when it can clear up? You left us prior, so for the people for the holidays, you see what's going on. You gotta go get on this subway, and then it's gonna be a typhoon underwater. Still stunting on stimulus bills. They got their panties in a bunch because they didn't go on vacation for as long as they were supposed to go on because they didn't pass the infrastructure bills. Now, as you can see, not just New York, every place in the United States. Different spots, too. It's not just one subway or railroad in New York, in New Jersey, in Connecticut. You're bugging. Infrastructure bills. You just told these people no for another 6 months. And the Almighty put a storm on you. Tell the truth. That wasn't crazy timing. That wasn't wicked crazy timing. Nah, tell the truth though. For real, for real. For real, for real, for real, for real, for real. That was crazy. That was crazy. Like, it's flooded. The whole bottom. As soon as he said no. He said no with a smile. Then he fell asleep on TV. Now listen. I'd never seen him fall asleep prior to Trump calling him Sleepy Biden. And then as Trump was calling him Sleepy Biden, I seen the effects wearing. And it's amazing to me that he fell asleep on the panel. But it's even more amazing to me is who he fell asleep talking to. So now, you lied to the American people, or you covered it up because you did a drone missile strike over there in Afghanistan and you hit only Americans. So it was a setup. So they swept that under a couple of days ago. They swept that under the rug. This is real stuff. I'll give you a visual if you need one. So in Afghanistan, when the Taliban came, the whole city, including the politicians, was happy and liberated, enjoying the Taliban. All the Americans, they gathered up, set them at a designated location, fooled America into a missile drone strike, thinking that it was only Taliban members, and it was United States citizens. So that happened. That didn't make world news in America. It probably did in other countries. But then it gets worse. It gets way worse. Because after you see the mess up and you cover it up, you bring the troops back home. Because you got tricked. Didn't I say every war there's a launch of technology? That's why there's a war. The United States is in debt with other countries. So how are you buying technology, goods and services, and you still owe us money? What's wrong with you? America, you dirty bitch. You can't front. It's something you can't front. That's why it goes down. These news anchors, they hear things that they can't report. They be looking terrified. Tell the truth. I'm talking about terrified. What? Terrified. They be out in the streets. Things be happening. I be laughing. That shit be funny. They be scared. They can't explain it. That shit is funny. They be terrified. You can only imagine what's going on. Please. What? Biden. Farewell. Mon ami. I'm dead serious. Step down now. Because every woman in the world, whether right or wrong, they're about to come together. Because that was some bullshit. And you know it was. You know it was. Like, you know that was some bullshit. Because he said, oh, let the states handle that. That nigga had the laugh, like, the ultra white man laugh. Like, you know how they get in their bag when they can get the last laugh and they can get the last word? Ha, ha, hit the lotto type laugh. Yeah, he hit the whole... It seemed like he directed that shit at New York. For some reason, it seemed like he directed that shit at us. Because it seemed like as he said it, he pressed a button and the subways caved in of water. They putting him to sleep right now. They warming his milk and his butter cookies. They got him in the tissue. He's like, oh yeah, take a little nap. They seasoning him right now. So you're just not going to step down, right? You just not going to step down, right? His wife is in his ass. His daughter. They don't even want to be president. They want him to do the good thing. His cousins, his aunts, his great aunt is still alive. That old bitch is probably in the crypt, vampired out with a bat in a casket. And she wakes up to the Undertaker music. That shit just open up. He better sit his ass down, bring him to me, and let Kamala, the young, healthy human, and stop looking at it like that. The young, healthy human, please let her do it now. Let her do everything. Let her correct everything. Everything that she is scared of, let her do it. And she won't have a problem. She really won't. I'm just saying. She won't have a problem. It's a wrap for that nigga. It's over for him. He got to step down now. It's over. We not getting the technology. The Democrats is you're running the House now for the next 4 years. You just won. What we need right now, we need a recount. They might ask for a recount. Because the reason it's legal for them to ask for a recount, he absolutely did nothing he said he was going to do. Everything he shamed Trump for and about, he absolutely did nothing. So it's proven to us that he's like sticking to the script. He's just a puppet also. He was made to say the opposite stuff as Trump was in presidency. Just to get your attention. He knew exactly what to say because he knew he couldn't stick to it. Granted, it's still time. It could change his mind and it could change tomorrow. We could wake up tomorrow and then he could be like, I had to change your heart. After this disaster, I'm going to extend this, that, and the third. I'm going to raise minimum wage to 15. Even to every single job. All the essential jobs. I'm going to raise them to 15. You have to get on the books. Come hella high water. Remember, you can get fired in a day. But if you got work history, you got work history, right? So that's what I'm saying. You have to get on the books. So you can't be complaining if it's not 15 and you used to not getting 15 and I'm accustomed to getting 15 and better. So you can't complain now. Because when I graduated after obtaining a $120,000 college education, I wanted to work on my own time, be flexible, work on my own time, helpful at the same time, and then have a charity as a guy. So basically just to implement what my profession and career is, I wanted a guaranteed contract, a guaranteed salary, but in my business, as I deliver charity, zakat, you see what I'm saying? And it's totally, it can't happen because how politics is arranged. Everybody's a politician because they rebel against what they don't have their hands in also. If you feel that your heart is in a movement, 9 out of 10 times you follow it, right? So if your heart isn't in my movement, because my heart is so intertwined with the movement that I could be here solo and solely speak for myself, and then I can implement my ways into how you think, but then I'm gonna pull your card. So that's why it's a solo mission. You only thought about this because I said it. So if Mirror Mirror on the Wall is playing for beauty, we're playing for knowledge too. Which one is it? Is the women just playing for beauty? Do dudes want to get smarter? I never seen a dude use Mirror Mirror on the Wall so much until now. Only person I knew that knew it like that was Max Kellerman. Just to be real with you. Degree. Granny. Sleepy Joe. I think you're about to get fired, and that never happened before. They might start looting. I'm dead serious. That's what I think the storm was about. And you can hear another one is coming. To stop the people from looting, because you had Dr. Oz put on a red bandana and say go be a bandit. And people in New York did that. They didn't take the red bandana and do it. They took my family's colors. That's no good. See how you tried to protect the white man? I gotta take it there. Cause when we wear blue, it's something. You know? Yeah, he wore a red bandana and said, go be a bandit. They started peddling and looting, robbing and stealing, kicking, punching and fighting, setting arsons. So is it the flame or was it blood? Both was shedded for real. Breaking a glass. Niggas falling on their ass too when a whole bunch hurting themselves. All types of stuff was going on. Being a bandit. You feel me? Hey, come on, yo. You gotta go. You know what I want to happen? I want him to have the flip. Right? Because I'm about to predict it. This is just me. I'm predicting something right now. I'm going on wax and I'm saying it. Going on video, I'm saying it. And it'll make a nice little movie reference, right? The Contagion, the Bird Box. Now watch something called the Black Hole happen. It's over. Watch the Black Hole. That's what's about to happen. Watch my vids. I'm calling it the Black Hole. Yes. Futuristic. It's over. Cyber Satan, Project Bluebeam, the Black Hole. What you mean? Opioid crisis, body snatchers and organ harvesters, pandemic. Yeah, that's the lineup. After the pandemic, see what I'm saying? See the lineup? The Contagion is the pandemic. Now I did the continuation is the Bird Box. After the Bird Box is the Black Hole. Tell me I'm not the best YouTuber. I just had to annihilate Trap House Kitchen. He got real racist. I didn't know Instagram you could cut out conversation or edit, or it had a delay or postponement. I didn't know that. You know I started off the video smiling. I'm one of them niggas that certain things is humorous, especially if I feel like teeing off on you. So I might smile. I'm not going to speak too much about other YouTubers. I just had to address that issue. I still want my boxing match. I'm still hot that I got reported. My page got reported. My page was circulating, and it was in perfect circulation with Max as he was live on TV. He's probably gonna have a couple, comebacks. Stephen A. I have an issue with Stephen A. Smith for the simple fact he's always being like somebody. Whether it's Vince McMahon, whether it's Martin Lawrence, whether it's being like Maxine, using your right leg to kick me under the table. So I have to watch that also. I noticed Molly never showed that type of behavior, and that's why they always bump heads with her. They always called her annoying. But she had her woman's intuition. And she could see the dirtiness in Max. They called it out. Look at his tux. Look at his whites. When he wears tux, it's just yellow. Like, he ain't got no style. I mean, you using our style, using our swag, our verbiage, our what they call that shit back in the day. Our ebonics. You use it. Now swag out. He can't. That's why he wanna touch me and shit when I was a kid. That's real fucking talk. See what I'm saying? I was fucking spooked. That shit was nasty. I was mad. I was on fire, nigga. I'm talking about on fire. The adults, they was like, yo, we about to call the cops. My cousin is so shady and crooked. Like, nah, don't call the cops. They was like, yo, you better make sure you tell your mother. Look how unhappy he is. Yo, that shit got me mad thinking about it, yo. End of the month, this nigga changed his whole appearance. This nigga grew out a beard, cut his hair all different, didn't wear a fucking suit. Like, whoa. Nigga look wild different. Now he got a rap song at the end of the month. My aunt reported this nigga twice. Twice. Cops came to the door, guns blazing, nigga. And he went to the hospital when I got hurt. Because I got hurt the next day. He fucked with me. I got hurt the next day. And my aunt went up there. And she stepped to him. And the nigga went and found the fucking hospital. The people that was at the hospital, the people who was at the fucking hospital heard what I said, because I was mad. I was mad as shit. I went off. I said, hey, yesterday Max jumped at me with a lady with a fucking knife. I went off. They said, ooh. How old is he? Next thing I know, this nigga, they calling my aunt. My aunt went back to the hospital after I got out the hospital. My aunt made it to the hospital. That motherfucker is at the hospital pulling Julian's papers right now. She went back to the police station. They batted her back down. And they was mad at Carter Truth Williams. And they arrested my father. Now listen, my aunt is my mother's sister. Look how I'm getting bullied in this fucking neighborhood. Think about that shit. My father got arrested. They arrested my father on some bullshit. Then they put him away for 5 years for nothing. Backed me and my aunt down, my cousin and grandmother, and then had Carter Truth under scrutiny and pressure. Think about the power of that shit. Ain't nobody in life, in the house, nowhere, none of my family members, none of the family, the friends of the family, nobody. When I was a little kid, nobody jumped at me with something sharp or pulled a knife out on me or never played with me with nothing sharp ever. The very first person that ever do that shit to me was Max Kellerman. The first person that ever touched me in the wrong way was Max Kellerman. I'm a 35-year-old man, and I was scared to death for a long time, but I always prepared myself for this day because I wasn't scared to death for myself. I was scared for my family. It was always this image in my head that they was just going to kill everything around me and leave me lonely. And there they showed me because they let me fight in front of the police, in front of Max Kellerman. And I didn't start it. Had I started, would I have been in jail and got, as a little kid, would I got beat up by the police and killed like what's going on right now? So now look at what I'm talking about. They let the little white kid, the Mexican, the Italian, you heard? They let him be mean to me, swing on me, try to grab me, because I'm not standing there. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. While the cops watching, females is watching, other people is watching. We in the street throwing down MMA style, headlocks, punches to the face. I'm talking about hard punches, slams on the neck, slams on the face, kicks in the head. I'm talking about this shit was getting violent. We was getting down. Older cousins, you better win. Older brothers, you better win. I was getting fought like a pit bull. I was just in a wave. We famous. I didn't even know I was a Barksdale. Max knew I was a Barksdale before I knew I was a Barksdale. What part don't you understand? From the ages of 6 to the ages of 10. I knew who my pops was, but I didn't know the fame of it. My family tried to hide it from us. I found out through the wire. I put 2 and 2 together. Then I had to find a third piece when I went to VA. We was known as colonized Virginians. They called us Redskins. I should tell y'all a secret. Something that makes me mad. But I use this shit as fuel every day, especially with that race shit. I use it as fuel every single day. Only if you know what I stand for and what I live for every single day. I made an independent self contract with myself. Because they say you could sell your soul and life's a gamble, but your soul is not yours to sell. So you can cheat the devil. It's just food for thought. You feel me? You always do. That's what life is about. But I use it as fuel. Because everybody pulls the race card with me. And that shit is not, I take that shit real offensive. I'm one of them Indians. If that's what y'all want to fucking call me behind my back. I'm one of them Indians. Yeah, I'm the one, I say something. I don't go for that shit. I don't go for it. You can have your own view on what you see about me and for me and how you view me. I'll be the first one to tell you. Before you say anything about that shit, know that I'm Native American. Before anything. Put two and two together. Whether it's in New York, I'm talking about back in a long time ago, where my family is from. I'm talking about from a long time ago. Whether it was from Chicago, we know it's from Virginia. Just know that we're Native American. Whatever the name was before, the name is now. Just know we was there before that. And on the far east of the United States, just go look up Cedar Honcho. I'm going to do that in front of y'all. Shout out to my little cousin too. He knew it was official when we seen each other at our homeland with our two other cubs. You know? I'm going to do that for y'all just to prove it. And then I might release a video to show y'all. I'm going to show y'all and then tell y'all my fuel. That when I look like my little cousin, when I take that little bath, I'm gonna take a dip, right? And show you with Maxine. That's what I need. It's time. Right? I need shit to pop off. So, I'm gonna show y'all what caught his attention. Besides, my family always cut my French braids. My mom would just pop up, cut my hair. Or my hair be cut. And I see why. It was too much attention. I still got a problem with some of these older people. You just going in your crib thinking about somebody else's kid. That's a little, it's a little disturbing, And as for the, I'm not clout chasing, but I didn't really meet DDG, but I met him. We was on the basketball court. He was about to hoop. But between me and you two, he was in the middle of me trying to, seal somebody off for something. The kid, he's not a kid. The guy's probably a year or two older than me. It's just some personal issues, that we're going to handle regardless. But I just wanted to tell DDG, he can also be a detriment. He's also a detriment to you too. Don't believe everything you see. And don't like everything you see. You heard? I don't make music, but I make better music than homie. I think he do make reggae, Jamaican music, patois or something. He's famous for some other shit that I'm about to tell you about, DDG, on the low. I'm proud that I got Max out of here. It's not over. I don't want him to have a subscription. I don't. I don't want him to have a radio, nothing like that. So it was a job well done. You could tell he enjoyed the job. So now, yeah, he got it taken away completely. Taken away. Oh. I'm more into the news. I talk about Soulja Boy right now. I think you a coward. You clearly see Kanye West is a married man. You clearly see that as his other half, regardless of the color barrier. Back when in 2007, 2008, remember when that song came out with him and Wayne? It was supposed to have Jeezy on it. We had it, baby, that drink. I didn't see Jeezy flip out like that. You know. And during that time, the Crip and Blood beef was crazy. And you know, Kanye from Chicago, so I seen Jeezy he was being like a stand-up guy. Like, he didn't go to Kanye, even though social media wasn't like that. He didn't go to Kanye and say, you know, that was some sucker shit, because he can't control it. You can't. You know you gotta answer to somebody. And Soulja Boy, your music is not flavor. I'm not an artist. Those 3 freestyles I just dropped, that's just play for a friend. I really gotta fucking talk to him. You see what I'm saying? I really gotta talk to him. Other than that, Soulja Boy, you're not anything. You shouldn't even approach a man that's been all over the news with mental health issues. You shouldn't even be approaching that grown-ass man with kids, right? That's why you hitting knee and shit, right? You shouldn't even be approaching him about that. You should just be understanding. I don't know if it's the money situation, it's the clout. It better be just the money. You should only be mad if you didn't get paid. I'm just saying. It's not the end of the world. It's people like him. It's people like Soulja Boy. You see what I'm saying? Gang affiliated. He could move on his own terms because he got bread. And he could pick, and he could be a little snarling chihuahua at a regular citizen that's just walking by or scooting by on his skateboard or whatever. And he's the chihuahua that bites at your ankles. I can't stand him. He's a funny motherfucker. But if you really look at the circumstances, Jeezy didn't act like that. Chris Brown not wilding. Chris could probably say something. He's dealing with it more of a classy issue. That's well and dandy. But it's people like you. So now you want to pick on them for what? What happened to all this beef you had? How you out on bail? With a gun. Gang affiliated. With domestic abuse attached to you. Then he was on TV. Love and Hip Hop. She was basically just... She was just making an example. Like... out of you. Like, you couldn't handle circumstances. It's proven that Allah puts you in circumstances that you can't handle. Yeah, and that He's there. So it's like it never happens. You see, it's like you having a kid. Like, it never happened, right? That's what I'm saying. You got to be on go. I mean, Nia is bad. To me personally, honestly and truthfully, Nia is bad. She was worth to stay, even though, she had a kid before. But Nia was bad. But she kind of proved her point. But now look, you picking on Kanye. After you went to the hood, had so many, other hood gang social beefs. You pick on somebody that has mental health issues. You know, Jeezy didn't act like that. It's always the red gang. Sorry to say it, you know. Shout out to the niggas that ride the 5. I fuck with. But do he ride the 5, nigga? Honestly and truthfully. Or is he just paying taxes? He move on his own. He not real. He not real. Gonna call out Kanye West. Your music is trash. Your electronics, that's a good idea. But come up with something flavor though. You heard? I come up with something a little bit more unique, awesome, wicked, you know. Nothing retro. A Dreamcast, a handheld Dreamcast is kind of hot. I ain't going front. It's kind of hot. But calling out Kanye West, constantly going at him, that's ridiculous. I just said in the previous video that I'm not going to call out no rappers. But certain rappers, they need their ass whipped. Right? So, I mean, I recommend y'all, you take my story serious with Max. You know, Austin McBroom, DDG, you know, the other little homie, I think his name is Deshae. Seen him around before. I think they hoop. But you don't catch that hoop. You know what I'm saying? You can spin this if you want. You know what I'm saying? You could definitely spin this. I'm taking on all comers. Everything. Word. I'm not the type to sit up here and be fake to nobody. You know? I'm the type of person, I clean up. So, if I gotta come be your muscle at your crib, I guess I gotta cook for you and clean the crib and make sure the people that's in your crib, they all, you know, they all on good terms with each other and there's no bullshit. You know? I mean, as far as music, I'm very articulate and artistic. So, that shit comes easy. You know? As a little kid, being around, you know, a lot of celebrities, that shit is wild. You really don't want the fame. More or less, you want the fortune. But the fortune brings a different fame. And the positive publicity, the commercial fame, it actually protects you when you have the fortune. You see what I'm saying? So, instead of just winning the scratch off for $6 million and having a fortune and being hood rich and everybody know, and then you having a bad rep for no reason because you got a lot of money. When you're famous, the positive energy you bring brings protection. For instance, Tekashi 6ix9ine. I'm going to just touch on him real fast. You see how he got kidnapped and then the cab driver held him down? See what I'm saying? Stuff like that. That's another one that needs his ass whipped. And he's protected. You see how Soulja Boy needs his ass whipped. Right? Tekashi needs his ass whipped. You know? Quando Rondo needs his ass whipped. You see what I'm saying? You see how they're all similar? They need their ass whipped. They are the living entity that's possessing Biden right now. You see the sleepiness. You see how Quando Rondo, how he has this suicidal talk Like he has this complaining, like he's complaining every time he's talking. You see how he got away with that? He complains about everything. That's how he talks. He's whining. Man, big bro, fuck that, big bro. I'm just trying to say, big bro, man. I don't know what I'm doing right now, big bro. He's complaining. He's whining. You see 6ix9ine taking advantage of the Census Bureau, knowing that where he's at, he's protected because of his Mexican, his Hispanic descent. He looks around and sees a whole bunch of non-dark skinned people, brown skinned, red skinned people, and he could just perform. He could get out, nigga, 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 you know. You see that? You see how Soulja Boy got hop on social media and stare, looking like a cartoon character. He could just stare into the camera and just rage off because he's in his mansion. And he looks like a little voodoo doll mage. That shit is funny to me. That shit is hilarious. The fact that DDG wants to beat up that rapper, what's his name, Tuzi? That shit is funny. DDG about to pound that nigga out. That shit is funny. No, that shit is funny. The fact that listen, the fact that Blueface secretly beat up a spammer, and then another person got mad at Blueface and got in the ring and swung on Blueface, and Blueface beat him up too. That shit is funny. That's the type of shit I live for. That's the acts I commit. That's why I want to be a part of this shit now. That shit was funny, dogs. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that DDG whipped that nigga's ass, that shit was funny. That shit was funny. I sat there. Look, I didn't see it. I'll be real with you. I don't lie. I don't have to lie because I'm not scared of nobody. I seen that shit afterwards. That shit was funny. When DDG whipped his ass, that shit was funny. I laughed from the first to the last rounds. I fucking laughed. And I'm happy he's accompanied by somebody like Austin. You know, I bring some else to the table, another angle, another dynamic to the table for DDG. I lived in the same life, in the same realm as DDG. That's why I'm smiling. I'm smiling because he knows also. That's why I said I know him, but I don't know him. It's because it's a secret. It's just fucking funny. That's all. You know? It's just in the way Blueface was whipping homie ass. That shit was funny. Alright? I sat, like, I don't watch TV. I don't have a cable box. You hear me? I'm on the internet. I'm reading. Or I'm watching a video. Or I'm coming up with something. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm thinking about my retail line, to be real with you. Maybe looking for another little straggler to stray. Slay. You know, pray on a little bit. Cool, I'm a cool dude. But DDG, the nigga, I gotta talk to you about something about the nigga on the basketball court, cause that shit hit home. You know, I'm talented though. Watch out for the dirty politicians, DDG. That's something you should get involved in. That's the angle that's what imperialism is about right now. With my videos, how I'm trying to liberate you and your homies. Because the way they hating on Austin McBroom, with his beautiful family is ridiculous. It's sickening. I'm not going to stand for that shit. I'm sorry. That's why I posted that vid and I had gave my analysis. You know, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. For all those people to sit up there and to target that man, listen to me. That should be illegal. That should be illegal. So I'm going to give you a story, right, with me. There's another, I'm not asking, I'm asking for subscribers more than anything. It's just that when I get a bag, you get a bag. When I get a bag, the people that help me get a bag. So when that networking happens, more bags is just obtained. Like, you understand? So I do compose. I don't have my own studio or nothing like that. I actually operate off an old school laptop and an old school system. That's why my beats is repetitive like that. The last two, you can't sequence it. But I catch on quick. As far as the freestyle or if you're moonwalking on Calabasas, that's why I said I know you, but I don't know you. So if you listen, you more my wave than I think you more Austin's wave. And Austin had a best friend like Austin back in school. That's why I want to help. And Austin is just like one of my best friends, yo. So is Blueface, yo. We even look alike, like my best friends from back in the day, from a long time ago. So I haven't seen them in a while long. Like, I don't even know if they're alive. You know what I'm saying? This is before my hood friends. These are actual good people. No pun intended, but this is good people that, they want the same thing you want. They want the same thing I want. They not in for self. They not. Let me clarify that. There's a lot of people you claiming you righteous, but you secretly left-hand path theory off the rip. So that's what I mean by good. That's really deception. You can't. So for instance, you can't claim that you're righteous, right? And then the charity only goes to you. Can't do that. So this story right here, with me in the Max situation and me holding it in for all those years, and me finally saying something, it teaches families. I don't care what color you are, to be honest with you. I make racist jokes. You want to know why I make racist jokes? Because I can take racist jokes. You want to know why I can take racist jokes? Because I'm not one of those people that sit up there and say, you can't say this, that, and the third around me. I can't. If you abuse it, that's different. There's a difference between banter and it's a difference between, you just talking. Like, don't abuse something. Like, I don't care about the N-word. I don't care if you call me my nigga. I don't care how you look. You see what I'm saying? And stuff like that. You see the difference between getting called the N-word and then getting called the F-word? You could call me that, but you can't call me that. So I had, like Blueface remind me as one of my best friends from back in the day. And so do Austin. You see what I'm saying? So I don't like the way the community, the LGBTQ community, is attacking Austin McBroom and Captain McBroom. He has 2 beautiful kids. You can tell Austin, he's trying to pull out all the stunts for his wife like a husband is supposed to. That's a beautiful woman. She gave him 2 beautiful kids. Blueface is a father also. You see what I'm saying? And my story, you know, it goes hand in hand with marriage. I'm being dead serious with you. Family ties and everything. Because at the end of the day, I want to ask him, who are you, Max? Now you people be the judge.